Hi, this is Barry Schwartz from Search Engine Roundtable. Today is Friday, October 23rd. This is the past week of search news that we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. A lot of interesting topics to discuss today. Not so much, but I'll probably go into more detail about those topics. So hope you like the show, and we'll get started right away. There have been a lot of people who have been noticing some changes over at Google. I call this maybe a minor update. I'm not sure if it's a true update because Google's constantly updating, as everybody knows. But there is a lot of threads, a lot of discussion at a higher rate, meaning when I track the threads over at different forums, normally you see people complaining about rankings and stuff like that, but when you see it spike and more people complain based on the previous days or the previous patterns that you've been looking at, you often conclude that there is some type of update that's going on where Google maybe adjusted something that affected a wider range of sites. So I've definitely been seeing things discussed at the forums. We even posted that on October 21st with some more links to more of this chatter. The last update we thought was an update was in August, where we saw the same type of pattern happen, but Matt Cutts said he wasn't aware of any update happening. I'm sure he's not aware of any update happening with this either, but it does seem like some people in some areas are noticing some changes over at Google, and if you have noticed a drop in rankings or an increase in rankings, you might want to take a look at this and chime in at the different forums. Also, there was also a Microsoft Bing update. This is pretty much 100% because earlier we alluded to that Microsoft fixed some issues when it came to the Webmaster Tools. Bing Webmaster Tools was down for a little bit, and Microsoft then said the reason it was down, which was about last week, was because they did some changes to their search index and algorithm. They did an update to their search index, which is what they said. Now, nobody really noticed anything happening with their search index until this week when we posted something on October 20th where people have been noticing major changes over at Bing with ranking changes as well as traffic from Bing. So if you did notice any change over at Bing and you want to know what's going on, what areas it's affecting and stuff like that, definitely want to take a look at this Webmaster World thread, which we have a link to at seroundtable.com on October 20th. Previously, the last update that we reported about Bing was also in August 2009. We have links to all this information again at seroundtable.com. The big news this week, probably the biggest search news this week, was that both Microsoft and Google have made partnerships or contract deals with Twitter to get access to their almost real-time, what they call fire hose of tweets. So basically, Twitter has two ways of accessing their Twitter data. One is via RSS, which is slower, and the other is via the fire hose, which is pretty much a real-time stream of all the Twitter data from Twitter itself. So Microsoft, a lot of buzz going around, I think it was Wednesday morning, that Microsoft has some deal coming out with Twitter where they're going to license their tweets. They come out with their own Twitter search engine. Later on, that was confirmed by Microsoft, and you can actually access this new Twitter search page at bing.com/Twitter. As you remember, Bing actually had integrated with Twitter, but not using the fire hose, but they integrated with Twitter where they show the latest tweets from specific personalities, I guess well-known personalities on the internet. But this is more of a Twitter search engine, which they're going to hopefully improve over time. Not to be outdone, Google has also, later in the day, confirmed that they are actually licensing data also from Twitter. They wrote a blog post over at the Google blog to confirm this. And of course, after they did that, news sites also went nuts about this. So I believe Yahoo, there was rumors about Yahoo via different news sources about a couple months ago that Yahoo is doing the same thing with Twitter as well. But we haven't received any confirmation from Yahoo about this, nor have we seen any special search engine from Yahoo on Twitter. Of course, Yahoo and Microsoft might be doing a deal, most likely, so any of that stuff might be wiped out anyway, because Microsoft might power that. But if you want more information about all this discussion about Twitter and how it's going to impact real-time search and social search and all that fun stuff, you definitely want to take a look at seroundtable.com, October 22nd. We have all the links to all the news for your consumption. On October 19th, I noticed that Yahoo has released more features without announcing it yet for Site Explorer. So earlier we noticed that Yahoo released top queries and URLs without telling anybody about it in the Site Explorer tool. Site Explorer is basically Yahoo's Webmaster Tools. Now they release a new data on their summary page, which includes key terms, delicious activities, meaning how many people have bookmarked your pages on Delicious. Also, top Delicious tags, what people are using to tag your content on Delicious. Also, they released SearchMonkey objects, because basically SearchMonkey is basically a way for you to give Yahoo structured data about your website in a structured format, RDFAs and stuff like that. So Yahoo is actually showing that if that applies to your site as well. Later on that day, when we blogged about it, Yahoo then posted something on the Yahoo search blog announcing it as well, more focused around the SearchMonkey stuff. So it's pretty interesting. The question is Yahoo using this Delicious data, tags, and number of bookmarks via Delicious as any type of ranking measure? I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up in Site Explorer, and they might use it on some level. That's the discussion going on right now in the different forums. If you want more information about this, October 19th at SERoundtable.com. So we've been discussing this for a while. Google AdWords API version 2009. It's coming out soon. It's available. You can actually start using it. But Google has finally, I think, released a sunset date when they're going to actually stop supporting the previous version, which is version 13. They're going to stop supporting that on April 22nd, 2010. You have some time, obviously. You have, I think, about 6+ months to worry about that. But you should start using version 2009 right now if you haven't started yet. And if you use the AdWords API. In addition, AdWords API released new features for version 2009. This new version is called V2009-09. And the main thing is that they released asynchronous calls, which allows you basically to access the API multiple times within the same time period. So if you submit a call in the past, you had to wait for that call to be returned in order to submit another call. Now you can do multiple calls at once, which helps things speed along. In addition, they released location extension support, keyword and placement ideas, and API usage retrieval information, plus a lot more features. There are some complaints from AdWords users that they do want to fully switch over to version 2009. However, not all the features they need that are currently available in version 13 are not yet available in version 2009, so they're still waiting on that. Google's working fast as they can to actually get this stuff done, but they still recommend people start switching over as soon as possible, and they keep releasing new features as they go. Back in August, we reported that Google has moved. We were one of the first to report that Google has actually moved the ads, the search ads on the right-hand column, closer to the actual free listings. There was a lot of discussion if that's actually make an impact on the click-through rate of either the ads or the free listings. Well, there were reports that they actually were increasing the click-through rate on the ads, but in the Google's third quarter earnings report, where they had a conference call, Jonathan Rosenberg from Google actually said, they have some transcripts about it, he actually commented that was one major change they made in August, which actually impacted the click-through rates, and it actually increased, that was probably the biggest, he said probably the biggest thing that Google did in order to make an impact on their ad income, was to move those ads closer. So obviously it has increased CTR, increased clicks, which means more money for Google, and obviously more visibility for advertisers on their ads. On the Google search front, we noticed that Google has now been indenting more than one result. So what you did is when you have a search result that Google thinks you should show up more than one page from your site, Google would show the main listing on top and then indent that result. You have the main listing, then indent the result under that, with possibly a more link under that, which showed more results if you clicked on it. Google now is actually showing for some search results a main listing, and then 1, 2, and even more results if they deem it appropriate. So we have some screenshots about this on October 20th. There's lots of discussion about this at Webmaster World, some on Twitter, some other blogs are picking it up now. So if you want more information with screenshots, October 20th, obviously you have to really match on those keywords. Maybe even the domain name is a factor in how those multiple indented results happen on Google. This morning I reported that a lot of people have started complaining again about MSNBot, which is Microsoft Bing's search engine crawler. They're complaining pretty much that the bot is actually crawling way too often, way too fast. This is a complaint that we've seen several times about Microsoft's search crawler. In addition, we've seen this about other crawlers as well, but mostly about Microsoft's crawler. I specifically looked at our forums, the Search and Roundtable forums, and I noticed that of the 23 spiders currently on my site, 19 of them, which was about 82% of them, were from Microsoft, whereas only 2 were from Google and another 2 were from Yahoo. So it does seem like Microsoft is more aggressive, a lot more aggressive than than Google or Yahoo in terms of crawling, and obviously that could have an impact on webmasters and how they feel about spiders and how they feel about certain search engines. What I'm showing you now is that Google Maps has added a new feature that basically shows up in the web search results. So if you do a search for a local type of query that shows up in web search, you do a Google search and do, I don't know, pizza or something like that, pizza stores, up comes a map listing at the top of the result, usually in Google. Now they added this little link asking people to say if this data is actually accurate. It says, is this accurate? I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to zoom in a little more. It says, is this accurate? When you click on that, it actually asks you to confirm. And when you confirm, it actually says thank you for confirming. So it's a pretty neat new feature that people have been noticing on Google Web Search related to Google Maps. If you want more information about it, we have a post about it with pictures on October 20th at SEOroundtable.com. Finally, I have a fun survey for you. We ran a poll, I think last week, asking people, should you risk linking to your competitors? Do you actually link to your competitors? We had about 140 plus responses. 56% or 79 responses said never. They never ever link to competitors. 27% said they rarely ever link to competitors. 14% say they actually do link to competitors. And then we had some other responses which were pretty much no, they don't link to competitors or rarely. One person actually commented, his name is Josh. He actually said he likes to play with his competitors, he'll link to them. And then after those competitors are happy about their rankings and they have such high rankings, he'll remove those links and put them towards another site or to his site, and then that leaves that webmaster or that SEO confused and not knowing what's going on. That's one of the comments. It's a pretty interesting comment. But anyway, we have a post about this with links to graphics and polls and stuff like that on October 22nd. If you want more information about that, check out SEOroundtable.com. Thank you so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the Friday, October 23rd edition. Hopefully you'll see us next week with more news. Everyone, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you guys later.